Hello, all of you gloriously wonderful people. This is the Vulcar Nebula Turbo, and I'm about to find out if it'll off-road. You can vote for the vehicles that you want to see featured in upcoming Will It Off-Road videos by clicking on the link in the description down below. And as we set off, we have a comment from Hopeless Romantic of why people vote for these cars, and Growling Jaguar says, because why not? And, you know, remember, this isn't a democracy, and we do not have anything near a controlled ballot system. You can vote as many times as you want. If you've got free time, pick whatever cars you want and spam those votes. I will say this, right now, I am focusing on the casino DLC cars. I'm just choosing which two I want each week until I get through the majority of the casino cars. Then we will return to videos that have the voting. There's already one recorded. Probably going to record another one. Well, by the time this goes live, it will have been yesterday, but for me, it's tomorrow. And so, yeah, we'll probably do one of those, but those videos won't go up for probably another month or so, just because we're going to keep doing some casino DLC cars for a while. And it's just because, you know, I want to maximize. I'm running the YouTube channel, trying to make it successful, trying to put out, you know, not only what you guys vote for as a community, and I appreciate that you do vote, and I appreciate that you are my faithful community and you watch week after week. That's why we are going to get back to voting. But at the same time, I mean, there is a DLC train that I can kind of ride to bring even more people into the community, so we have even more people voting, so we can have some even more interesting results in the off-road. So that's the goal of what I'm doing with the voting right now. I'm not ignoring the community votes. I do still check it on a regular basis right now. It looks like the cars that I'm recording tomorrow are going to be the Vulcar aircraft or anti-aircraft trailer and the Dominator GTX. That is one hell of a combination. But the Vulcar Nebula Turbo. So the way I've recorded all these cars that have not yet been released is by using a single player mod on PC. I do not endorse, condone, in any way want to say that I accept modding online. I do not. If you mod online, learn how to play a video game. But mods in single player, knock yourself out. All I do with these vehicles is use the mod menu to spawn them in, and then I use it to teleport me back to the top of the mountain so I don't have to drive back up for the damage. That's it. So the vehicles are not in any other way modified outside of LSC. I drive into LSC, do the same mods we would do online. So performance is identical. What's not identical is how I designed this particular Nebula Turbo with Michael driving it versus what you saw of mine last Thursday in both the not Will It Off-Road, but the GT Online news video, as well as the video for releasing this car. And my God, this thing is a nightmare to take up the mountain. It is work. This is work. And the thing is, you're like, oh, well, you can see the top of the mountain. We're almost done. No, we're not. We've still got a little bit to go. The coyote just randomly killed itself there. That happens all the time now in the story, but I don't really know what's going on. But this thing, I mean, it doesn't have grip in the rear wheels at all. So it's just constantly, no matter where I'm at on the throttle, spinning its wheels. And then getting up the side of this. Yeah. Look at that. It's just, I mean, it's doing it, but I'm barely even able to get on the throttle at all. I'm surprised it got up there. I genuinely am surprised. But we are finally up 3 minutes, 47 seconds. Will it off-road? Yeah. I mean, technically, yeah, because it got here. But don't try it. It's not fun. It was a challenge the whole way. This is actually the 4th take that you watched me going up the mountain. 3 other takes, random spots, just slid off the mountain. The car rolled over. It was not fun at all. But at least I do now have all of the casino unreleased vehicles recorded, all of them. And so they're just waiting to be edited and turned into videos and have voiceovers recorded and all that good stuff for when I determine they're going to come out. If a car comes out in time for me to re-record it online with the community Will It Off-Road, I'll do that. But sometimes I don't get that chance, and I wanted to get ahead. I kind of thought this was going to be the car that came out this week, and I really wanted it to be featured as soon as possible after it came out, just because this is such a hilarious car. Don't get me wrong, I love the Nebula Turbo. I absolutely do. Not painted like this. This looks like it's sponsoring a ketchup and mustard convention or something. I don't know. Looks ridiculous. But I love the car. I like to drive it, even though it's terrible to drive. I mean, it has really vague steering. You go over the tiniest little bump or even imperfection, and it just randomly steers off into whatever direction it wants. The back end has no grip. The car wants to roll all the time. It's slow. It's terrible, but I love it. It's just, oh, and look at that hike to take down. Oh my gosh. Even knocked his hat off and it couldn't get turned back around. But it is a great car. And we will see the rest of the casino cars as well. And I had a lot of fun doing the casino cars. I did them all in 2 days. All the ones that haven't been released so far. And I really wanted this one to be like the Monday right after it was released. But there's no way for me to be able to record that on the normal recording day, which is Sunday, and we're off the track, and get the video edited in time. It's just, it's too hard to get a Will It Off-Road video turned around in 24 hours, because a lot of editing goes into these. It's the most labor-intensive series I have. The rest have gotten pretty easy. But, yeah, Will It Off-Road takes a lot of work. But look at this thing. I can't even get it going in the straight line. This is the most work I've put into a vehicle. That was the most frustrating, and yet I had the biggest, like, shit-eating grin on my face the whole time. Because it's such a weird car. I don't know, there's just something that makes me happy about this car, and I don't even know what it is, other than the fact it's old and it's boxy, and, you know, whatever. Yes, Michael, you tell those hikers, get off the Vainglorious Mountain. Which, if you didn't know, Mount Chiliad has been claimed by the Vainglorious. We are the ones that hold rights to it. We may give you permission to be on the mountain, but none of the NPCs are allowed. That is why it is free game to run them over. And we are down in 3 minutes, 14 seconds, so I'm magically going to teleport, and I literally magically teleported using a mod back to the top of Mount Chiliad to fling this thing off the side of the mountain and see what type of damage you can get. It barely got off that ramp because the back wheels were just spinning. There are a few more boulders and obstacles in story mode that don't exist online, which is why I try to keep my recording to online and not in story mode. Sometimes with the unreleased vehicles, I need to go ahead and do it, though. So the damage ascent is a little bit more interesting because there's just a few more obstacles in the way because of all that extra stuff in story mode. I don't really understand why it's not online. I guess because, well, I know why it's not online. I mean, there's no way they could have gotten 16 players on old gen to have the old gen consoles be able to handle that from a CPU, GPU, or even RAM point of view, and have all these extra dynamic props in the world that had to be rendered and broken and updated for other players and things like that. It just would have never worked. It just wouldn't have. I mean, you can see how far things have come with the dynamic world of Red Dead, but even that's missing some online props. Got a little bit hung up on the boulder here. Didn't have enough grip to back off of it, so I'm having to do a fancy version of a burnout there to get the back end to come all the way around, like 170 degrees. And that's all the back end on this car ever does, on this damage ascent. I don't think there's very many times I'm going in a straight line, because it has no grip on asphalt at all. And of course here in the dirt, those spinning wheels are even more of a liability. Some sort of body panel there, looks like a fender has come off. Almost nailed a clean execution through the tunnel, but now that we're in the bumpy, muddy bit, oh dear God, look at this, it's stuck. It is literally stuck. And I have to sit here and work to get this thing out. Again, they're doing a burnout, turning, getting it turned around to where the wheels have grip. So, well, okay, so the wheels are touching the ground and going again. Tried to go through there slow, and even that didn't pay off. Wasn't about to try to back up and pull forward. I'm just going to stick to doing burnouts from now on. It just seems to be the easier thing to do. And this is just nightmares. It's like the car turns because of all these bumps. Like I mentioned, it just turns when you hit a bump. It just does. And so I don't have a whole lot of control over it, as you can see, because I nearly went over the wrong side of the wood pile. Just a hilarious run all around from this car as a bird glides above me. But we are down 2 minutes 41 seconds. Let's take a look at the damage on this car. The windshield and driver's side windows are gone. Left fender is gone. The hood, trunk, and left door will not close. And there is one bent wheel. And of course, that is going to bring us to our next vehicle, the Bravado Gauntlet Hellfire. God, I love this car. And I'm not even like a Dodge Demon and Hellcat fan. I think they're silly. But I love this car. I love its looks. I love the way it sounds. But as we take off, Donkey says the horns are totally obnoxious things that 12-year-olds have, and Sven, seemingly. Which, of course, I reply, those are both the same things, right? However, Donkey, a little secret. It's not Sven that usually has those horns. I'm not going to tell you who it is that has the obnoxious horns. It's not Sven. So, the Hellfire is an interesting car because it has unbelievable straight line speed and a lot of grip, actually, surprisingly. I mean, you're going to see here in the dirt, it doesn't spin a great deal there are sometimes it spins the wheels, but it doesn't spin a great deal of the time just spinning its wheels. You can get them to let go pretty easy in the dirt, but it'll pretty quickly get back in. What's interesting about the Hellfire is, I don't know, you can tell with a couple of the cars that came out with this DLC. I think Rockstar was toying with the idea of like a new drag race series or something. Because these cars do really well at going in straight lines really quick. However, when they see that thing called a corner, they don't know what to do. And this car does not want to turn in at all. And so, like a lot of cars that are that way, I'm basically having to drive this or steer this car with the gas pedal. And what I mean by that, I've explained in a previous video, and it's not working out so well right there, is that I turn in, see that the car is not turning in, so you let off the gas for a second and blip it.
Stay off the road!
I forgot Trevor was driving this time. You blip the throttle a little bit to get the back wheels to let go temporarily, and there you go, you saw me do it right there, and again there. And you get that back end to swing out to help you in your turn. And that's really all you can do with this thing to get it to turn. On city streets, it works, but not as well as it does in dirt, because at least in dirt, it's easy to get back into the amount of grip you have, and it doesn't take a lot to make the back end let go. On asphalt, it takes a lot to make the back end let go, and then it takes a lot more to get it back under control. So driving by or steering by the throttle is a little bit more difficult, but it can still work. There were several times, and again, this is a car I had to do multiple takes on, that there was just a curve I came up to that I just completely failed to get around it and just wound up going right off the trail completely. Twice at the very beginning, like at the very beginning, trying to get around that first big sweeping right-hand turn. And then another time midway up the mountain. See, that coyote just fell over again. Every time I drive up, no matter which character, the coyote just like faints. If you run over it, it still makes the dying sound, but it'll be running along and just boop, over it goes. Every time. So weird. So, let's get the Hellfire up the side, shall we? And yeah, steering by throttle screwed me over there because the back end kicked around too much and I lost all my momentum and it just doesn't have the grip. Didn't have to back up too far though to get some speed. And you can see it did alright there. A lot of wheel spin, but we did alright. And we are finally up. 3 minutes 20 seconds, so will it off-road? Yes, as you heard a text message also coming on my phone. Probably from my buddy Non-Credit Rocket. Yep, it is from Rocket. They will also text me at this time of day. So, time to go back down the mountain for our controlled descent. It's going to be more of the same. Car has decent brakes, but again, we're going to be dealing with the fact that it doesn't want to turn. And now I'm not going up the hill, so I have to be a little bit more careful with blasting the throttle, because I could also send myself flying off the hill. So you know, you gotta watch yourself with this. Otherwise, you get yourself in a lot of trouble with it. But you can see decent brakes, and what's really cool, I don't know how well you can hear that, has a really good engine braking sound. I don't know how much of the handling file actually is. Yeah, I hit a mountain lion and it sent me off the trail, but I don't even remember it. It's been so long since I recorded all these cars. How do I finally get out of this one? I'm genuinely interested to see how this turns out. Because this is nothing but wheel spin now. Oh, okay, well, right up it went. Okay, so be it. I'm kind of impressed by that, honestly. Like, genuinely am. So you can see I'm trying to get it to turn the corners by the throttle with just little blips. You can hear it in the engine now and then. Or even on the braking, just letting off the brakes and letting just the mass of the car turn. But anyways, I don't know how much engine braking really is featured in the handling files. I don't know if it's even really a thing. But I love it when the cars at least simulate it audibly. I just think it's a cool thing. And some of the cars do, and this one does. You get a good engine brake sound. I'm kind of heading the wrong way for this turn. Still kind of heading the wrong way for this turn. There we go. Got it figured out. Good play, Trevor. Almost had a coyote for dinner. Man, I do love this car, though. I like its looks and everything. Which is really weird, because like I mentioned earlier, I'm not at all impressed by the Hellcats and the Demons and stuff like that. I don't know. I've never liked the Dodge Challenger or the Dodge Charger. I don't think they're either one very particularly good-looking vehicles. And adding a wide-body kit and a lot of horsepower doesn't do anything to overcome the fact that they're just not appealing cars to me. If you like them, that's awesome. I just don't care for them. I don't care for a lot of modern muscle vehicles. I don't like the interpretation of muscle. And, of course, the Chargers are not a muscle car. My mom has a Charger. It's a V6. And trust me, there's nothing muscle car about that except for the fact maybe that it's rear-wheel drive. But, doing all right here through this little trail because I'm not really full throttle. Almost missed my turn because it did not want to turn in. And I don't know how much you can really notice it. And I'm not trying to brag on my driving here, but I am doing a good job of driving this thing by the throttle. Except for right there. Of course, I'd say that I'm doing a good job. Because that's what happens. But it's only because I failed so many times and had to do so many takes with this car that I finally got it. But, so it may not be coming through, but trust me, this thing, yeah, there we go. This thing is challenging to get it to go around anything but just a small turn. Unless you just come to a complete stop, and, well, not a complete stop, but a near stop, just to get it to turn in. But we are down in 3 minutes, 27 seconds. By the way, for that climb up Mount Chiliad, that made it 10th out of 24 muscle cars. Just a couple hundredths of a second, no, sorry, a couple thousandths of a second ahead of the Vapid Hot Knife, so nothing really all that impressive. And it's 125th overall. I don't remember if I mentioned for the Nebula Turbo, it is 13th out of 16s versus Classics, 153rd overall out of 225. So neither one getting anything really impressive. And we've yet to have a muscle car break the 3-minute mark in Willett Off-Road. Like, it just hasn't happened. I'm pretty sure every other mainstream class, by that I mean not like the utilities or, commercial vehicles and stuff like that, but sports classics, supers, muscle, sedans, coupes, compacts, and off-road and motorcycles all have something, I think I named all the classes, all have something that I'm pretty sure, except for sports class or muscle, that has broken that 3-minute mark. Wow, we have got some engine damage going on. I'm hearing an engine rattle coming from the Hellfire. Almost an Hellcat. I would have gotten all kinds of shit for that. This thing, it's bouncing around as much as the Nebula. Of course, for the damage to say, if you're not familiar, I go full throttle. If I am moving, I am probably full throttle on the damage descent. Because that's just kind of how GTA drivers drive, for the most part. Not all of them. Not all of us. Some of us know that the throttle, as Commander Hobo likes to say, is not an on-off switch. There is finesse and throttle control to be had, but most people tend to just ham-fist it and just full throttle everywhere they go. So that's why the damage descent is done full throttle, because that's most likely where you see average GTA drivers when they try to go down the mountain is tumbling out of control. But we are down 2 minutes 3 seconds. Let's take a look at the damage on the Hellfire. And the headlights and one taillight are gone. Most of the windows are gone. The front bumper is gone. The hood gone. Doors of the trunk won't close. The rear bumper is damaged. There's side body damage. There's engine damage. And there are bent wheels. That is one hell of a long list of damage. But hey, don't forget to go vote for the vehicles that you want to see featured in upcoming Will It Off-Road videos. And of course, if you didn't know, there is Will It Off-Road Bingo that you can play along with in the description down below. Just click the link, open up that webpage, and click Generate Card, and you can play along. And until next time, I am Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.